In the beginning, there was neither day nor night in the Warrian culture by the Orinoco River. There was only a dim illumination of the houses and the boats that you could barely see. The houses were perched above the river, up on stilts, so that they won't tumble in. And people did not have roads. They used the river for all their transportation. In one of the houses lived a chief and his two daughters. The chief had heard that somewhere, someone was a keeper of the light, and he wanted to have some. He wanted to share the light with his village. He wanted to see the light and experience it. So he said to his older daughter, he said, I want you to find the light and bring it back to me. And she agreed. And he blew on her face so that the hebus of the brush and the water and the sky would protect her on her journey. She put on her best apron and headed out to try to find the light. She got a couple miles into the journey and hit an intersection of many, many roads. She didn't know which one to take, so she guessed, and she just took one, and eventually it took her to the house of Deer. Deer, with his sad eyes and his antlers like fuzzy branches over his smooth ears. And she stayed with Deer for a while, and they laughed and they talked and they loved together. But then she remembered that she had to go back to her father. And so she headed back and told her father that she did not have the light. And so the father called his younger daughter and said, there is a light keeper who keeps the light, and I want you to get it and bring it back here. And she said, okay. And he blew on her face, and she combed through her long hair, got all ready, and then the father said, and I will play my flute for you. And so the daughter set off to try to find the light keeper, the father playing his flute behind her, and she walked and got to a confluence of roads, the same one that her sister had reached. But this time, the flute music gave each road a face, and she could see the face and get a sense of each face, and she chose the face that was the oldest and the strongest and said, this is the one I'm going to take. Followed the road down a long ways, and she got to the house of the light keeper, and he knew she was coming. He was waiting for her. And when she got there, he had a box made of tightly wound itiriki leaves. And he was holding it very, very carefully so that nothing would spill out of the box. And he opened the top of the box up for her, and the light spilled out over his sinewy brown skin, over his white teeth, over her black hair and her dark eyes. Finally, the younger daughter had seen the light. And she stayed with the light keeper for a long time. Every day they talked and they played, and they had dreams as sweet as honey wine. And she really loved being with the light keeper. But she remembered that she had promised her father something. And so she told the light keeper she had to go. And he held her tightly for a long time. And then he gave her the box of Itiriki leaves and said, "Take this to your father." And so she did. She carefully took the box back. Her father was asleep in his hammock over the river, and she woke him up and gave him the box of light. And he opened the box and put it on top of one of the highest stilts of his house. And the light streamed down and it touched the waters of the Orinoco River. And it touched the fan-shaped leaves of the ite palm and the shiny red-yellow fruit of the mere. And the family loved having the light. Well, it didn't take long before everyone else heard that they had the light there. And everyone wanted to see the light and experience it. And they all set out in their long, thin, purple heart bark canoes up this waterway and down the other, person upon person in long canoes, canoe upon canoe, heading to the chief's house. And they got there and they crowded into the house, into the main part of the house, into the outside of the house, onto the porch of the house. There were people everywhere. And the father and his daughters fried fish after shimmering fish for all the guests. And they loved the light. The people loved the light. No one wanted to leave. They wanted to experience the light and then the dreams that they had after experiencing the light. There had been nothing like it. And so no one left. And the chief started to get quite concerned because he was waiting for the day when his house was going to tumble into the river because of all the people there wanting to see the light. So he went outside, he took down the box. He said, "People, you all want to have this light. So here goes." And he threw the box up into the sky, up as far as it would go. And the light tumbled out. That was the sun. And the box tumbled out. That was the moon. And then the chief said to his younger daughter, "Go find me a turtle. Go find me a turtle and bring it back here." So while the people were experiencing the sun in the sky, the daughter came back. She was cupping a turtle in her hands. The father took the turtle. It was a little gray turtle, and he blew on it. And he said, "Hey, son, I have a present for you. Wait for it." And he lifted the turtle up and guided it into the air. And then as the turtle started walking up to the sun, the chief was playing his flute. So the turtle had something to travel with. And it took a while, but the sun was very patient and waited for his new companion to join him. And when his new companion joined him, the sun and the turtle very, very slowly walked across the sky until they met the moon. And the moon said, "You want to rest in my box a little while?" Oh, and from that day forward, most of the time, the sun comes out very slowly, it crosses the sky until night comes and touches the waters of the Orinoco River. Thank you.